Welcome to Time Ball Games. I'm ELD, here to ask you for help in growing the channel. When we reach 2,500 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a custom leather playmat to one lucky subscriber. So be sure to like and subscribe. Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Ball Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have Matt on Miracles squaring off against Brian on Eldrazi. An absolute menace of a deck came out with Oath of the Gatewatch and just took over all the formats for a short while. Now it's just one of the contenders, a very reasonable choice for players looking to have some quick matches, as very often that Chalice of the Void on turn one is actually going to resolve and lock your opponent out from so many of their spells. It actually gets stopped with Force and Negation here. Another new printing, which is seeing a lot of play, not obviously as much as Force of Will, but the ability to hard cast and the fact that it exiles, offsetting the fact that you can't do it on your turn for free. A Thought-Knot Seer here off of Eldrazi Temple, along with that Ancient Tomb, and Brian's basically playing with twice as much mana right now as Matt. And he's really got to think through this line. The Thought-Knot Seer is coming down, and he's just going to let it resolve. We've got a Swords to Plowshares along with a couple of Monastery Mentors. And those Mentors looking pretty vulnerable right now compared to this 4/4. It'll come down, but with no support. Now, if he draws like a Brainstorm or something, does he already draw the Brainstorm? What a savage. So here we go. Draw a land off the top, play another Mentor, and then Brainstorm away, and it's going to be an absolute nightmare. Karn, Scion of Urza, can start making some friends, or it's actually going to start generating some card advantage. We've got I forget which one that is. So much of the Eldrazi art looks the same. We'll see the Waste goes to hand, the other card going to exile. And Matt needs to Brainstorm first, trying to find a land. He does find actually all lands, it looks like. I mean, one would have been nice. 3 is actually quite disappointing. And now a Snapcaster Brainstorm, or Snapcaster Swords. And that's going to allow Brian to draw another card when the Thought-Knot Seer leaves the battlefield. I don't know if he actually drew the card there. I didn't see it. I did not see him draw a card. Miracles with a really good board right now. Mentor, Snapcaster, a couple of Monks. This could be out of here in just a turn or two. Or 2 or 3 turns, I suppose. Walking Ballista or Thought-Knot Seer. He gets a Thought-Knot. And the 4/4 comes down, taking that last Mentor out of Matt's hand. Brainstorm into a Council's Judgment. Going for the Karn. And now going for some damage. They are 3/3s. One of the 3/3s gets eaten. 5 damage coming through. And this 4/4 is a pretty large body to be standing in front of Snapcaster Mage. Looks like a Matter Reshaper. And it is, again, another great card to throw in front. And Miracles somehow finds itself being the beatdown deck here. But Eldrazi not completely under control. There's 7 damage on board. There's kind of an even race either way. Miracles seems to be favored here thanks to the power of Monastery Mentor, but Eldrazi has more cards in hand. Sorceress Spyglass coming down, naming Jace the Mind Sculptor. A land off the top, no help from Matt. Oh, sick. All is dust. Get out of here. All colored permanents are gone, leaving just these colorless Eldrazi, pushing through 7 damage, setting up lethal for the next turn. Wow. It's going to need to be something here. Grabbing a Council's Judgment. That does not feel like enough. Council's Judgment's going to get rid of the Thought-Knot Seer. And Brian's going to draw a card. Still has 3 damage on board with only 1 life. With only 7 life left for Matt. 3 damage comes in. And now another Matter Reshaper. And that is going to do it. Spell Pierce off the top. No help. Eldrazi absolutely devastating with that All Is Dust. What a blowout card that is. It's a good reason to play these colorless strategies. I've seen the 12 post Eldrazi lists use that to great effect. We didn't actually get to see all of Brian's mana base. We didn't see anything that's not in 12 post that I can recall. We have Eldrazi Temple and Ancient Tomb. I think were the only lands that we saw there. Oh, and a Waste. So, yeah, we'll see if he's got Cloud Posts or anything like that in here to make All Is Dust even more castable. But what a comeback card that is. I've played that in 12 post, like the blue-green builds back when Sensei's Top was in the format. Man, was that a devastating card for Control to play against. They'd have a counterbalance, and you could, have a Jace the Mind Sculptor, some Snapcaster Mages, all sorts of good permanents, and you just toss that out there into their counterbalance and ask if they have a 7 casting cost card they'd like to reveal, because the answer to that is no. You were just taking out everything they've worked so hard for. All right, a bunch of shuffling there. To get to these starting hands, there's a Terminus, which can be floated on top for a while. And it's a very powerful card. If he doesn't have access to white mana or a fetch land, not really going to be usable. One thing to remember with Miracles is you can respond to the trigger. So, for example, if you have a fetch land, you can trigger it and then respond by using your fetch land to go get the white mana. A Chalice at 1 comes down. Uncontested this time, and that could be a big problem if Matt doesn't have an answer for it. So many 1 casting cost cards in the deck, and also some of the most important ones. Brainstorm, Swords to Plowshares, Ponder. There's no shortage of 1 casting cost cards, and we do see a Glimmer Post, so yes, this is going to be a 12 post variant. Maybe we'll see some really high-end mana cost plays, perhaps even some of the larger Eldrazi. That would be a beating. Grim Monolith now, one of those cards that is spiked to the moon. Lion's Eye Diamond, Grim Monolith, both of them very, very high right now. And even Revised Dual Lands are doing extremely well in terms of the prices. They have all been more than making up for any of the lost ground from earlier this year. Council's Judgment takes out Chalice of the Void, setting Brian back to only 6 mana. Now it's 7. Glimmer Post gaining 2 life there. Be an unusual thing for Eldrazi to pass here. It is a aggressive deck looking to build a board presence, and there's an Endless One. Not an Endless One, an Endbringer. And that card has to be answered, or things are going to get out of hand real fast. Swords to Plowshares easily takes care of that now that the Chalice is out of the way, and then a Ponder. And Council's Judgment really carrying its weight here, unlocking both of these 1 casting cost spells from that Chalice, which would have made that Endbringer just pretty much unstoppable, both drawing cards and dealing damage. Here's another Chalice. Let's see what Matt has to answer this. 3 mana open, so soft counter is not really an option. Force of Will pitching Ponder. Matt not willing to be underneath that Chalice for any amount of time. It's difficult because he does have the Council's Judgment in the graveyard, meaning that Snapcaster Mage becomes another way of dealing with the Chalice. However, if you don't have any immediate plays in the turns following the Chalice, you may just have to force it. A Palace Jailer. And that is a big tempo swing there. Miracle's now going to be the Monarch. If they can hold on to it, they'll be in very good shape. A Reality Smasher now would be just graphic. Misty Rainforest. Is that Misty Rainforest? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe Eldrazi Temple? That makes sense. Eldrazi Temple makes sense. Teferi, and things just getting worse here. Teferi bounces the Grim Monolith. Now in this matchup, it's unlikely that this Teferi is going to ratchet back up and then draw another card unless it's a total blowout. And we've got Portent finding Council's Judgment. Thanks to Mystic Sanctuary. Yeah, if Teferi does ratchet back up, this game is just not even going to be remotely close. Any creature that comes down likely going to have to swing at Teferi at some point. But Matt just needs to keep all of these creatures off the board. And there's another All Is Dust. Oh no, and he doesn't have a counter for it? Wow, he used Mystic Sanctuary to go get the Council's Judgment. He didn't have a counter. I hadn't even considered that he didn't have a counter in his hand. Yeah, I gotta strongly disagree with that line. Mystic Sanctuary can go get anything you need on top of the deck. Wow. All Is Dust just devastating. Taking out Teferi. And now Thought-Knot Seer. Now he's got a Force of Will. Vesuva. Making a copy of Eldrazi Temple. Matter Reshaper. And we've got a Brainstorm in response. Looks like another Force of Will. Can be hard cast. There's Terminus. And Matt just playing the Terminus off the top. And now a Monastery Mentor. Almost said Swift Spear. We don't get to see nearly as much of the Mentor in Vintage as we used to. It's now actually restricted. But free reign to play a playset of them in Legacy. That Blast Zone clears away the Mentor. And now a Grim Monolith. And this Eye of Ugin, this could be a big problem. I don't know what Miracles has to deal with that. Maybe a back to basics. We got Snapcaster into Brainstorm. I mean, Eye of Ugin will eventually grind out anyone over time. You're just tutoring for whatever you need, given that you've got enough mana to make that work. And I mean, there's some pretty big, scary things in Eldrazi that you can grab with Eye of Ugin. You pay 7, tap it, and get a colorless creature out of your deck, which can be artifact creatures as well. There's a bunch of colorless artifact creatures that would be of consideration. We've got a Jace the Mind Sculptor taking a look, swinging for 2 with Snapcaster. Matt's got that Force of Will in hand. A fairly safe situation for him. Jace the Mind Sculptor versus an opponent that is hellbent. We are likely to be going on to game number 3 in just a few more turns. Trinisphere, not really a concern. Doesn't really do anything here. 2 more damage. Question is, what will... Oh, I totally forgot about the shuffle. No, this is a disaster. This is a total disaster. Jace the Mind Sculptor, Fate Sealing. It's not going to matter when you shuffle, get the card you need, and then get a fresh card on top. It's usually such a safe place sitting behind Jace. But this line does... Don't do this at home, kids. If your opponent's sitting on a Eye of Ugin with plenty of mana, that Jace needed to be brainstorming, trying to find some type of answer to this situation. Brian was winning from that vantage point. He's going to get an absolute haymaker here. And Ulamog gets Force of Willed, but he exiles those 2 permanents. And Brian's just going to be able to go ahead and run it back with that Eye of Ugin. Brainstorm sees another Jace the Mind Sculptor, but again, the guy's... I mean, he's fine for drawing cards in this situation, but you're not going to grind out your opponent when they're able to tutor stuff up every turn and get a fresh card off the top. It's going to be a shuffle. We have back to basics. Now that's an answer. And Jace the Mind Sculptor. All right. See, that is what we actually needed out of Matt's deck there, is a back to basics. That is something that can actually help. But just Jace on his own, not nearly good enough. Tons of basic lands here for Matt. Oh, and another All Is Dust. Hat. Holy cow. I missed how that even got there. Did Matt not Fate Seal him? All Is Dust, just complete freaking blowout. I'll have to rewatch that and see how that made it to the top of the deck. Was it like runner, All Is Dust, Fate Seal, C1, put it on the bottom, rip one anyways? That is just brutal. But Matt's still outdrawing him 2-1. Thanks to the Monarch. And Monastery Mentor now hitting. I mean, but this Eye of Ugin is just going to go find something very unpleasant. Unless there's another back to basics. Council's Judgment takes out the Grim Monolith of no real consequence there. It was tapped anyways. If Matt isn't able to actually kill Brian on his turn with a bunch of Mentor prowess triggers, this could be, you know, an Emrakul or something. He's just going to go ahead and activate for 7. And he's got 6 mana left, -2 from the Eye of Ugin. So he could get a 8 casting cost Eldrazi and actually cast it up to 8. And he grabs just a Reality Smasher. There he is. He swings. And that gets the Mentor, or the Monarch back. Also getting the Matter Reshaper. And a Terminus is looking like it's going to go on top. Matt going to have to bail on his position here. Boy, that said, I mean, Brian's got the tutoring of this Eye of Ugin each turn. Each turn that things are passed, it gets more and more ugly. Brian's advantage grows with this Eye of Ugin. A Matter Reshaper and a Sorceress Spyglass. I mean, Spyglass can name Jace the Mind Sculptor. We've got Swords to Plowshares on the Matter Reshaper. He gains a little bit of life. And Sorceress Spyglass sees some more answers. Again, a Jace the Mind Sculptor named with Sorceress Spyglass. Snapcaster Brainstorm. This is one of the longer fast effects that we've had. We're past the 22-minute mark. I think we've cut out some shuffling. So we're running at double speed. So we're coming up on like 5 or so minutes before time. With Brian up a game. Council's Judgment clears the way for Jace the Mind Sculptor should he arrive. And this is just all of the mana. Is this going to be Emrakul time? Does he have enough to actually cast Emrakul? No, just a Reality Smasher. Ugin. That's a spicy one. Whew. Well, when 3 All Is Dust isn't enough to win a match, sometimes you just need to Ugin all of their stuff too. Reality Smasher. Did Ugin not clear the rest of that stuff? Do I not actually know how Ugin works? I thought it got rid of all permanents with a color less than the activated ability. X or less, yeah. Each permanent with converted mana costs X or less, that's 1 or more colors. And I would have gotten rid of all the things. Terminus. Clears some Eldrazi and now a Gideon. I think this is the one that makes the emblem. Makes a 2/2 soldier as well. Cloud Post and Glimmer Post just making so much mana. Reality Smasher coming down. And that looks like it's going to be Xaxes. Ugin, I think, is going to do 3 to Matt's face. No, he manifests. Is that not the Ugin? Oh, it's not the Ugin that I thought he was. Okay, there we go. It's not the Spirit Dragon. It's the baby Ugin. Wow. That'll do it. And now, Reality Smashers swing. Sorry for the mix-up on the Ugins there. That is the War of the Spark Ugin. And much less mana. I mean, I don't know why you don't go even bigger if you're playing 12 post anyways, but it was good enough for for Brian to take that one down. What a back and forth matchup. I don't know if I've seen that many board wipes in a game of Legacy, maybe not even in a game of Commander. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.